So how do we fix GM mode in WWE 2K23? Today we're going to go a little bit deep and look at the mode itself, talk about some of the rumors that are circulating right now in terms of what is going to be updated, what we can expect, but also really just combing through it to see what realistically could be updated and fixed in the mode to make it just a lot better. So let's get into it right now. But one of the things I think we could see for 2K23 for my GM is a change up of your general manager selection. Obviously, we know that Sonya Deville is no longer GM, so she's going to be out. You got to suspect William Regal is out as a possible GM. Maybe not. He just returned back to WWE. We'll wait and see. Shane, I don't see being back. Stephanie could be in there as a general manager option. Adam Pearce, I think, yes, would be in there. I wonder if they change it up too and they have Triple H as a GM option and the custom GM as well. The other one is, and I've seen this rumored online, I don't know how much of it is true or not. Maybe we see Eric Bischoff come back. We know he was a general manager for Raw for quite some time. We could see the likes of Teddy Long. That'd be really cool if they did that. My gut says we get Adam Pearce, Stephanie McMahon, maybe William Regal, Triple H, and potentially an Eric Bischoff. Those would be my guesses who we get for general manager. Now, I think for 2K23, I don't think they change up what the general managers offer. I think they might tweak this and just change like what is given to them, like the 2X here for Stephanie McMahon. Each general manager giving unique power cards. I think general manager mode sticks with power cards and giving us those options. I think maybe they just update it going forward. Choosing the brands, NXT UK is no more, so we're likely not getting that as an option. To NXT, regular NXT is going to be updated. That's got to have new NXT 3.0 in there. And we have Raw and SmackDown. Big question, I do wonder, are they going to change it so that we have the option to import a custom show? So having my own custom Raw or WCW Nitro, for example, if I want to have that, that would be really cool if they let us do that. I don't know if they would or not. Let me know in the comments, what do you think? Would we see this fourth slot being taken out and giving us a custom option or a WCW option? That'd be really neat. Now for the settings itself, setting this up, one, I think aesthetically, we'll just see a little bit of a facelift for 2K23's GM mode. And I don't think much is really going to change. They might tweak the options in here. The difficulty is an odd thing because they had normal, easy, normal, and hard. But with the updates they did in the patches, to get like the tag titles, you had to be in normal difficulty in order to have tag titles available as an option after they patched it. So I think that ends up changing. Maybe they go from easy, normal, hard, and legendary mode would be cool. The opposing brands, I think, stays the same. And obviously your opposing GM, they would probably keep that the same deal. The duration. Okay, this is what I hope they do update. I hope we get an updated duration of weeks for general manager mode. I don't think they'll go for unlimited, but I like to see them, I don't know, 15, 25, 50, 75 weeks. I don't know, but I like them to tweak this a little bit. 15 weeks is short. You could finish 15 weeks in GM play 2 to 3 hours, I think. I know I have, but I wonder if they will change that up a little bit. The draft pools, they'll keep them, I think, as default and custom. And the draft settings, if it's going to be an automatic draft by the AI or by you. But going into a custom draft pool and setting it up as like active, inactive, this part here I feel really needs to change, and we'll get into the roles and the classes stuff in just a minute. This I find a little cumbersome. There's got to be a better way to do this, because I don't want to have to go through every single one and active, inactive, all of that stuff. It gets really tedious and take a long time. I know we have all the filter options in here, but I wonder if there is a better way for them to be able to go in and update this so it's a little bit better for your custom ones. You know what would be cool is if they allowed players to download, if they introduce an online option, and I can download your custom draft pool. One thing I do hope they really update is going to be the budget. They need to tweak a couple of different things when it comes to GM mode. One of them, increase that budget more, and we'll talk about like contracts in a minute. That needs to be fixed too. But there's 8 rounds in the draft. They might change the amount of draft rounds, maybe increase it a little bit. And one thing that drove me nuts with GM mode in 2K22 was that not everybody is made available in the draft. So for example, right now, Brock Lesnar is not available in the draft. I don't like that it's just a hodgepodge of whoever they want to randomly put into the draft. I want it to be current, updated, the current active roster in the game. If you just want to automate it, then everyone should be made available. Now I would have to go back and I have to tweak it, and it's really annoying. Now, one thing I want to see them fix here is going to be their class system and how that works. I understand them wanting to put in different classes of stars, bruiser, specialist, but when you're matching them up, and we'll get there when we go through the GM process of like booking match, it's annoying how I can't put one star against another because I think it's going to be a really cool matchup. I have to go based on their class. So one thing I do hope that they're going to fix this year is going to be the class system and how matchups are created, because it's very limiting that way. You need to give players the freedom of how they want to draft and then how they want to match up their stars in the game on a week-to-week basis. One of the things we have heard, at least online, like Mike Straw from MikeStrawMedia.com, mentioned that MyGM will have mid-card singles titles. So we know that we're going to have the tag titles because they were introduced for 2K22. We have our heavyweight titles, where we're going to get mid-cards as well, which thank God, because I don't know why they couldn't give that to us in the first place. It'll be interesting to see. Are they going to allow one champion or double champs for World Heavyweight title? My guess is they're only going to let us have one heavyweight champion, which is going to be okay. I know a lot of us would say, hey, we should be able to have dual because we're going to have Roman Reigns as our champ, for example. But for each brand, I'm fine with it. The thing that I want them to do is allow us to select which mid-card title or any of the titles, what is going to be represented on our brand. I want to be able to pick if it's the WWE title or it's going to be the Universal title or a throwback belt. I want that as my heavyweight title. So I want belt customization options in here too. We know the way they did this now is with our regular week-to-week programs. You got your opener, your mid-card, and your main event, and then you're going to get more matches available for pay-per-views, and then even more when it comes to WrestleMania. I don't have a lot of problems with how this is even laid out aesthetically. I think it's clean and it's organized. I see my budget. I know how many fans I have. But one thing we know we want to get, and that is speculated to include, is going to be more match type. One thing that has been going around online, and I don't see how they would ignore this, that we are supposed to be getting more match options available. One-on-one, tag team, triple threat, fatal four-way. That's what's being kind of rumored right now anyways. And they got to include this in order to fix it up, because you're so limited, it doesn't make you want to play through it. If 2K23 gives us way more in the terms of options of triple threats, fatal four-ways, customizing the matches themselves within that. So picking a one-on-one and then deciding, like this, is it a Hell in a Cell, a TLC, and so on, but adding more in there, or selecting custom match type rules like 2 out of 3 falls, for example, or if they're going to give us even more match types like an elimination chamber, let me do a little bit more in here, still keeping the cost and how much stamina it's going to cost me. All of that is fine. But this is, again, I said this previously, I have a problem with how this is done in terms of setting up my rivalry. Like Universe Mode, I kind of want to just be able to have that where I just pick Roman Reigns and I want to pick his opponent right now. Maybe he's going to have a feud with Edge. I want to just make that a rivalry, not having to match them up week after week after week and make it kind of work that way. That's what I don't like. I should be able to just set that up. One thing I didn't mention when it comes to managing the roster, I should be able to come in here and increase, decrease, sign, re-sign contracts. The only thing they let you do is release the talent. What if I wanted to pay Roman Reigns way more? This is one of the key things for a general manager mode that you want to be able to do. You want to get in the nitty-gritty. You want to be able to then manage the contract. I want to be able to sign, even if it's not a dollar amount. If they can't get us that way, then give us the number of years I want to sign him to, for example, or months. But all I can do is just release Roman Reigns, and I'm going to get a refund for that much cash. I really hope that they give us the ability to add in one more layer in here and say, do you want to renew, release, trade this talent, those things. Trades being a big one for me. I really want to be able to come in here for managing the roster and have an option to say, renew contracts, release a superstar, or trade or offer a trade up to the opposing brand. How do you not have trade options? We've seen this in the past. Signing free agents and signing legends, I think that's fine. I don't have any issues there. But again, this is where I wish we had larger budgets available. I have such a slim roster. Sure, I could pick stars that don't cost as much money, but I want a bigger roster because I want to be able to set up proper tag divisions. I want to have 50 stars on my roster so that I can do tag team tournaments, titles. Like I can really chalk up story and build out a narrative within general manager mode. And then there's more back and forth in there. It's a lot of the details that I feel the mode is missing here. It's got a good kind of body and shell to it, but I feel like if they just added in a lot more when it comes to the details, it would be a little more successful. Okay, show logistics. Here's something I hope they get rid of. I don't want to start off in a high school gym. This is really irritating. I enjoy GM mode. I want to do more, but I don't want to start here. I get the thinking of it of like, hey, bring your whole brand up through the ranks and get them to perform better, and you'll keep unlocking week after week. But all they got to do is just say, we're going to go from SmackDown in a regular small arena show and then go up to a larger venue and a larger venue with a larger seating capacity. I know that visually in the game, they can't really say, well, you're going to notice the difference in the crowd size. Maybe they can do it a little bit. Maybe they could shrink down some of the crowd available or remove bodies so like the front row looks normal, but from wide camera angles, you see like fewer of the crowd in there. That could work. But I don't want to start off in the gym. I remember when GM mode was announced and they were interviewing some of the devs. This was one of the things that stuck out to me where they're like, yeah, you're going to start off in like a high school gym and you work your way up. I'm like, that's not fun. I want to be able to set it up a little bit further. Road crews and all of this is fine, but I think that they need to somehow have it mean a little bit more. Maybe go a little bit more in depth for like, okay, we have the crew, we have the lighting, we have advertising too. I don't think this is really going to change all that much. I mean, it's got the cost. It shows how much show quality, how many fans we gain out of this. But I think that this could be retooled a little bit. And one of the main things is changing, like, I got a gym. Now, power cards, I feel are going to make a comeback. I don't have issues with power cards, frankly, but I think that they need to just tweak them a little bit. Maybe even just up the graphics on them to make them a little bit better. And I think if they revamp and retool what you get in your inventory and what they do, what the power cards will do, if it's going to be offering a trade for superstars, or it is going to, like they have done in 2K22, where you're going to be able to limit your opponent for 1 week on something. Those things I can see making a comeback. And with rating system, this again, I feel goes and ties back into the show bookings and doing the matchups themselves. Because the ratings for shows, it just doesn't accurately reflect to me how I'm performing. Like if I put on a banger of a show, I feel like some weeks I go in there and the ratings are down for the matches I put together. But I'm like, but I have two giant heavyweight stars like Roman and Edge, and I'm not getting the ratings for that match, or they consider it flat. And that's going back to that class system issue where if I put Roman against a cruiserweight, I'm probably going to get a better rating. Or if I put Raquel Gonzalez, who's a giant, and putting her up against a cruiserweight, I'm going to get a really good match rating, but I don't want to do that match on my card. You know what I mean? So I feel like those are some of the things they really got to retool. The other thing I wish they would do, I hope they do, is when it comes to the promos, for example, if I want to type in, I want to do a call out promo, and I'm going to have Randy Orton calling out, let's just say Tyler Breeze. I want to be able to do this promo and then see it when I'm ready to run my show for the week. Same if it's going to be advertising. I'm going to advertise the upcoming show. Maybe they do a splash graphic or something that will show us the match. Okay, so for our real match cards, what we got? This, I feel, is going to need some redo. Again, it feels like it's a really good template for GM mode that they've done here. And I'm talking about like, okay, we got the renders up, a little bit of the background you can see. I can simulate my show. I could spectate the match. I could play the match itself. This is where it gets interesting, though, because I want them to be able to change how this is kind of laid out and formalized. What I want is to be able to play the match. Yes, I could spectate it and simulate it. That's okay. But I want to get rid of this. I don't need 1, 2, 3, ding, ding, ding. Just swipe. If I'm going to simulate it, just boom, go to the end. And like I have this promo, if I hit continue, I want to see the promo. Put in just some stock video of them having to call out if I want to see it, or give me the option to simulate it. At least give us the options for what we want to do. And once again, when it comes, this is why I want them to just get rid of the whole working out of a gym, because I got Roman Reigns. He's my heavyweight champion. He's my universal champion, and he's in a gymnasium. It doesn't make any sense to do it this way. So I really hope they scrap this piece, because it's just silly. I don't think fans, you tell me, but I don't think fans want to start their whole GM experience by, okay, you're in a basketball gym, like, you got to work up from that, brother. And you're like, I have Roman Reigns on my roster. Unless you're going to give us options to be like, do you want to start from the ground up? Then you allow us to only pick like low rating stars, ones that you reduce our budget, all of that stuff, and work our way up to be able to unlock a Roman Reigns. That's not what fans want. They want to be able to build out the roster how they want with current stars or legends. You can't tell me you're going to start off a brand new general manager mode and you got Hulk Hogan, brother, and he's starting off in the gymnasium. It doesn't make any sense. Now, spectator mode, okay, it's cool because I can change the cameras around. Thank God. But isn't it funny that I can change the camera as a spectator here, but I can't do it in regular exhibition play? I know that's brought up in the comments a lot. People want to be able to say, I want to switch my camera around. How hard could it be? Clearly it's not, because I can do it as I spectate a match here. And I love that they let us do this. Doing this can allow way better storytelling for people. There are so many awesome creators out there. I think of Misfits. He does amazing creations, like storytelling on his channel. The amount of work that guy does, I can assume, is a lot to be able to put through so much fantastic storytelling in there. If only he had the ability to just swap the cameras around, it would make it so much easier to create content, to create really cool moments in your universe mode or in your MyGM mode or in exhibition. The other thing is, I wish they would just let us do a freeform camera where I can just move around in the arena. But doing this, clearly you're telling me, 2K, that you could switch the camera up if you really wanted to, but you don't give players the option, and that is something that is really missing from the entire game itself, let alone MyGM mode. But this gets me so much more invested. I wish I could take this, create clips out of it. Then you want to be able to upload that to community creations or like, you know what I mean? Being able to give fans a lot more of that customization. If you added this feature of the camera options to spectate, even brought it over to universe mode, that's an update that I think fans would really like. If you're like, well, we can't tweak this too much and put it in exhibition, put it in universe mode. If they made a lot of the changes and fixes and updates to general manager mode that I'm hoping for, it almost makes me not need universe mode. A lot of fans have said, and a lot of you in the community have said, hey, I want all of this. I need this fix and this fix and this fix for universe mode. And I am totally with you. But look at GM mode and what you are currently able to do and what you might be able to do come, a couple of months when it releases. All of the title options, if they allow us to have custom arenas included for our show, that's one thing. It's just missing a little bit of that detail for that customization. Then it's just universe mode. And if 2K is adding more and more depth to MyGM, from letting us do trades, change the contract situation around, beef up our roster, we got more titles included. The final steps are just letting us choose any match type we want, and you're right into universe mode. It's that little bit of sandbox customization that they haven't flipped over, and frankly, I think you could just merge the two modes together, and fans would be like, oh, hell yeah, I can have way more options, and I can do way more with it. But I think spectating matches, keep that in there. We don't need to get rid of that, but they got to change how, they make this a little bit snappier for going through week to week. But see, I think the match card, okay, this week was fine, but my main event was a 2.5, and that sucked. Like, are you kidding me right now? And great, you can go through the match report, but they also need to add in, to give it more depth, you need to be able to add in things like cutscenes in GM mode. I want to see my rivalry between Edge and Roman Reigns and see how it's progressing. And those are more cues of universe mode, I understand, but maybe GM just gets their own specific crop of cutscenes, or they pull some from universe. Again, you're blending the modes together almost at this point, right? But you can see the direction they could be going with this mode. By the way, if you're wondering, Matt, why are you getting the prompts for the help prompts? Have you ever played MyGM? I have. I'm playing on PC right now, and I haven't loaded up MyGM on PC. One other thing I hope they do fix up here is going to be the interactions you have with Triple H the game. More dialogue options, make it more of like a thread pre-selection, being able to select how I want the conversation to go. It's very generic. It feels very unnecessary. If they're not going to improve how the conversation goes when you have to go and talk to Triple H, then get rid of it. I don't need that. Or you could just put it in here like you have the journal, and you do have some messages from superstars, but they need to improve that. Make it the social media thread like we've seen, but make the social media thread like you have in My Rise. And stars are commenting on their matches or what's happening, or maybe they're unhappy. We could still have them posting in here and talking to you about, hey, I'm not happy with my current contract situation. But it's almost like, okay, I'll put you in a match or I don't put you in a match. That's it. And then they want to either become a free agent or not. And that's only at the end of their predetermined contract, which I think it needs to be increased. So when it comes to your pay-per-views, there are some things that I wish they would improve on. We do have an extra match in here, which is great, but I think that if they include the mid-card titles, then we could see this get beefed up a little bit more, which would be nice. Meaning we could get more matches on a week-to-week basis, or maybe give us the options to toggle between how many we want to have on SmackDown, increase, decrease. You're talking universe mode, right? Have one more, one less when it comes to pay-per-views, and then WrestleMania having 10 matches. But if they include the mid-card title, then we've got our opener could be our tag, then our mid-card being our mid-card Intercontinental title match, women's title match, and then the main event, men's title match. They might just keep it the same, because for a pay-per-view, you got all of your title belts here, but that's where I feel like they need to increase it a bit more, because then you want to have just regular rivalries outside of the belts here and included. I also hope that for commissioner goals, if they're going to keep it, that they just retool them a little bit so that we're going to see a few more options instead of just do a run in, have an Extreme Rules match. And so once you have like your main event, I think that if they want to include more match types available, not only just doing triple threat, fatal four way, but including match types for TLC, Hell in a Cell, you got to include more. You got to give us tables, Extreme Rules, TLC, Hell in a Cell, Elimination Chamber, maybe any of the new match types if they are available. If War Games is in the game, maybe we could have War Games, maybe not, if they're only going to limit us to 4 people. Ladder matches, you got TLC matches, but let us just go through what's available in the game already and just put in the different match type. See, I'm in spectate mode. When I talked about like the cameras earlier, I wish they would let us mess around with the camera angles during entrances. It'd be so cool if I could get a really far away shot of Edge during his entrance, or getting more close-ups, or letting us pan around. Not only just for it being fun in the game, but for being able to post stuff online. People love taking their screenshots or getting those really cool moments captured, or doing like a whole reel, putting these things together. It'd be so much more fun if you could mess around with the camera angles for entrances. So there's a lot that they could fix when it comes to MyGM mode. We're going to see fixes along the way once the game actually comes out for 2K23, but it's going to be interesting to see if they can really capture that magic from previous year's games that fans really liked. And I think that 2K22's MyGM mode was a step in the right direction, but I feel it was much more of like the framework of, here are some of the elements we like, here's what the GM mode, it's kind of the baseline idea of it, but there's a lot more that could be done. And I really hope that 2K23 delivers on what fans want, that are fans of the mode, that want to do it a lot, that want to play it a lot. And I hope that they really do deliver on this. What do you want to see fixed when it comes to MyGM mode in 2K23? What do you think we get? If you guys enjoy these deep dives and looking at the mode specifically, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to talk about it some more. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.